Okay, those of you that want to know how to get into a fasting lifestyle, I did this video exactly for you. So I give you 3 steps you should go through so that you can really ease yourself into a fasting lifestyle. You can understand these principles and how they work for you. And I think the 3 steps are fairly easy to implement. So let's see how you do with it. As always, let me know if these videos help. Just put helpful in the comments so I'll make more of them for you. And if you have any questions, put questions in the comments because I've got a team of people reading those to make sure that we customize these videos for you. So get ready. Again, I hope this really helps launch you into an amazing fasting lifestyle. Hey, a lot of you guys have been asking about our live event. It's called the Reset Experience. It's on January 11th, and I am going to bring everything that I talk about on this channel: fasting, microbiome repair, mindset, detoxing, and we're bringing it to you in a live event with experts from all over the world that are going to come and teach you the tools to build a fasting lifestyle. So if you want to join us, whether you can join us live stream, we're having it professionally live streamed, or you can join us in the actual venue, which is really cool, and we get to meet each other. I'd love to get to know you. Just put Reset Experience in the comments and we'll make sure you get a link. Excited to share this with you. Okay, so it's the new year, and I know a lot of you guys want to understand fasting. And if you come to my channel, there's a lot of information that I put out here on all the different types of fasts. I love to bring you the science behind fasting because I think that's really important that you understand that a fasting lifestyle has so much research backing up that our human body was meant to fast. So, but there's a lot of confusion out there about how long you should fast, what happens at certain hours of fasting, when you eat, what should you be eating. So this is where it can get really confusing. So if you're new to fasting, I wanted to leave this video here for you so that you can go through some initial steps that will help you get a foundation of fasting so that you can then launch from and try some of the deeper, more extensive fasts, okay? So I've come up with like 3-ish steps for you. The first step, you want to learn intermittent fasting. Now, most people will tell you intermittent fasting is 13 to 15 hours of fasting. What I'm going to recommend to you is actually you do something before that. The first step in my book is look at what you're eating when you're eating. So look at, do you stop dinner, let's say at 8 o'clock at night, you wake up and you have breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning. So look at your schedule of eating and make a decision that you're either going to move dinner up an hour and not snack afterwards, or you're going to push breakfast back an hour. Or you could try both. But what I want you to do is take whatever fasting window you're doing right now, and you might not even realize that you're doing a fasting window, but when you sleep you're doing a fasting window. Whatever time that window is right now, I want you to increase it by an hour. So if it's 8 hours, you're going to increase it to 9 hours. You're going to either push your breakfast up an hour, your dinner up so it's earlier an hour, or you're going to push your breakfast back an hour. If that feels easy, you can try now going 2 hours. So if your fasting window right now is 8 hours, then you would go to 10 hours. Maybe you're going to move your breakfast or your dinner up an hour. So instead of eating at 8 o'clock, you're going to eat at 7 o'clock. And maybe instead of having your breakfast at 7 in the morning, you're going to have it at 8 in the morning. Now you've extended your fasting window by 2 hours. So start off with just getting that principle down. Now, the other key to this is that once you do that, in order for us to get you metabolically flexible and for us to get those mitochondria to heal, for you to get all the benefits of some of these deeper fasts, what I want to make sure you're doing with your food is that you're upping your good fat and you're bringing your carbs and sugar down. So if you're looking, there's a lot of different ways we can look at the eating style once you start to eat. A lot of people do keto with a ketogenic diet with fasting. And that's not always necessary. Sometimes I got plenty of patients in my clinic, resetters on our resetter group on Facebook, that they just lean into fasting, but then when they eat, they're not necessarily counting macros or living a real low carb diet. You'll see I'm a big fan of really varying the quality of the food that you're doing. But when you're first new to fasting, we want to just extend your fasting window, and then we want to bring your carb load down, and we want to increase your fat load. So eat more good fat and bring those carbs down. For some of you, that might be, I'm going to give up bread. For some of you, it might be like no gluten, no pasta. Some of you might need to give up the sweets, so no sugar. Some of you might be leaning into more fruit, that you need to minimize your fruit. What we want you working towards is about 50 net carbs. That's where you can live in you can keep your insulin down, you can live in more of a ketogenic state. So, but this is step one, where you're just extending that fasting window. Now you're looking at your macros and you're saying, could I bring my carbs down? Could I increase my fat? Let's play with that and see what happens. Now, one way you know that your fasting is working for you, because when you first come to fasting, it can get a little, you don't always feel fabulous. So this is where I love to get a blood reader, so that you have a blood reader like the Keto Mojo is what we recommend. So how you would use the blood reader in this first step is when you wake up in the morning, you would take a measurement of your blood sugar, and then you would measure your ketones. So go. We'll put a link for Keto Mojo in here where you get your blood sugar and your ketones. And you just acknowledge whatever that is. Maybe it's 90, your blood sugar, and maybe your ketones are, the reader can't register it. So then I want you to take a second reading. And the second reading is right before you eat your first meal. So maybe it's a couple hours after you got up, take another reading. What I want to see for you is that your blood sugar in that second reading is coming down and your ketones are starting to go up. If you follow this first step, where you're just eating dinner earlier, pushing breakfast back later, and you're bringing down carbs and fat, and you're not seeing your blood sugar go down and your ketones go up, then you're going to need to work on that carb load a little bit more. You're going to have to bring it down a little more, or you're going to need to extend into a longer fast. But usually going into that, bringing that carb load down, especially at dinner, will make a big difference, okay? So first step, you're just pushing your fasting window out or extending it, and you're working with this idea that not all foods are created equal, that you want to bring the carb load down and bring your fat up. That's all first step is. And if this is brand new to you, just stay there. Now the second step, if you've already done that and you're like, hey, I feel really comfortable with that, the second step is I want to see that you can go about 13 to 15 hours without food. Now, a lot of you, this is where you'll live most of your life. You'll eat the intermittent fast. Most of the time, your fasting window will be 13 to 15 hours. There's incredible research on 13 to 15 hours. One of my favorite studies was done on women who had breast cancer. They saw a 70% reduction in the reoccurrence of breast cancer when women fasted somewhere between 13 to 15 hours. Not a lot of fasting. For some people want to go 3 days to try to overcome cancer, but we can even see in a 13 to 15 hour fast that can really help with cancer cells in women dealing with breast cancer. So I like 13 to 15 hours is a wonderful place to live. Now, in this second step, if you want to take it even deeper so you can get into a deeper ketosis, this is where now let's look at your macros a little more. So in the first step, you just are bringing carbs down, bringing fat up. In the second step, you're actually trying to fit those carbs and protein. I'm going to add protein into this. I'm going to add fat into this. You're trying to fit it within a structure. So in this second step, you would want your carbs to be 50 grams net carbs. You would want your protein to be at 50 grams, and you want over 60% of your food to come from good fat. We recommend the Carb Manager. It's an app you can get on your phone that you can download that will help you calculate all of those macros. But I wouldn't, if you're brand new, do the first step first, and then you can get into the second step where you're going longer and you're really working on your macros at a deeper level. Now, in this second step, before you go to the third step, I really want to make sure that you're getting into ketosis. So getting into ketosis means that on that blood reader, you're showing up at a 0.5 millimoles or higher. If you're at 0.5 or above, you're in nutritional ketosis and your body is starting to secrete ketones. Beautiful, beautiful thing for the body to do. But if you are not getting ketones and you're at 13 to 15 hours, then I would encourage you to just hang in there, work on those macros. Remember that one of the greatest components of healing is time. That time and repetition are really important. So you might need to just play in this second step for a little while until you really get your body acclimated to that. Okay, third step. So third step, now you can start to look into some of these longer fasts. So I've come up with 7 different fasts. Go watch the video I did on the 7 different fasts. I like the next step after 13 to 15 hours is that you go into autophagy fasting. Autophagy fasting is where you're going 17 hours without food and you're working to keep your protein under 20 grams. So I've done a lot of videos on that. We'll put some links in here, but the third step now would be, okay, can I bring protein down? Can I go a little longer? A lot of people lose weight with autophagy fasting. Autophagy is where your cells are detoxing. They're going inward to find food. So again, we'll link some videos. I've done a lot on that. But that's your 3 steps. So first step, extend that fasting window out, bring carbs down, fat up. Just master that. Second step, you're going 13 to 15 hours, and now you're really looking at your carbs. You're really managing your macro loads. And then third step, you can move into something like autophagy fasting. So that'll take you, that could take you through the first quarter of the year if you're brand new to fasting, and a really smart, sensible way to go about that. So very helpful. If you find this helpful for me, just put helpful in the comments. If you want more information on fasting, we have a fasting benefits chart. Put fasting benefits chart in the comments, and we'll make sure that you get a list of what happens hour by hour. So we have a lot of resources here for you. And as always, I hope that helps.